Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we're here with some Star Citizen. Now, what finally brings me back to Star Citizen? Well, the most recent patch to Arena Commander, which saw some awesome and amazing tweaks, steps in the right direction to refining the control system that I've always had a huge issue with. Again, I wasn't gonna sit here and complain about it endlessly because I know that it's pre-alpha, it's alpha, everything is really early in development, and at this point, I didn't expect too much. However, Chris and the team have finally sat down and they've been trying to push the control and the feel of flying inside of Star Citizen in the right direction, and this most recent update was one that they were most proud of, and they felt like that it was really starting to be where they wanted it to be. So I figured, okay, well, the ultimate test is to go ahead and plug in my X-52 and see if I can actually fly anything in the damn game without getting really frustrated after about 40 seconds. And I came away impressed. The game is getting better all the time, it seems. They really are. They're just fixing so many bugs along the way. So I think when you look at the patch notes, it's hard to actually realize how much work is being done. However, when I hopped into the game, my track IR worked instantly. It was really nice. I was able to use my Elite Dangerous profile, which wasn't too bad with it. A little bit of clipping here and there, but that's all on me with my track IR profile. Plugged in my X-52, hopped in the M50, and headed to Broken Moon to do some flying in the now twice as big arena, which is one of the best things that I can say about the update in terms of the maps. I'm so glad they made them larger. This is going to make dogfighting way more enjoyable, and we're definitely going to be checking out some dogfighting later this week. We're going to be playing some multiplayer with the new improved controls on the X-52, head tracking, all inside of Star Citizen. I'm very excited for that. Very excited indeed. However, while the controls aren't perfect, there's still a little bit of slop here and there. They just feel a million times better. Now, they did actually, by default, rebind yaw and roll, which I found kind of weird for joystick users. They actually made it so if somebody like me who has an X-52 who has the twist, which I usually use for yaw, since I don't have rudder pedals, they made that roll. I found that kind of weird. I simply swapped them around and I was good to go. Yaw is one of the most noticeable areas where you can tell it's still very twitchy. There's still a lot of refining to go on there. And that has a lot to do with the way that the ships are actually going to fly. The fact that you can simply just rip around. They haven't really, nerfed the power of yaw like Elite has. It's just not the same path that they're taking. But it feels so much better. I can play this game now. I mean, simply put, for me it was like I didn't want to use the mouse and keyboard. I didn't want to use the controller. They just weren't satisfying means of playing the game. So, I just really wanted to use the X-52. Now, after I spent a little bit of time flying around Broken Moon, seeing how long I could go before I blacked out or crashed into something with G-Safe off, I decided that it was time to dive into the racing. Now, I apologize, guys. This has a really low frame rate. There's not much I can do about this. I'm running everything as low as I can. I have to go in and start turning off some of the bloom settings in the background in the config files when I have a chance. But it wasn't terrible. It was about 25 frames, so it's definitely watchable, and it was definitely playable. And you started to get a real sense of speed now that I was able to be comfortable with my controls. Again, this is where it was most noticeable that there was still work to be done with the controls because you're going so fast and you're trying to make really small high-speed adjustments with the yaws, especially to line yourself up for the next gate. The roll works really well though, it's sort of the combination of everything that is a bit rough. But at the end of the day, this was something that I could get into doing. I could get into trying to beat my own fastest lap time and, trying to be competitive with myself in terms of times. And it also gave you a really good feeling for just how intense the racing is going to be when you start throwing other players into it. And we start seeing, some real competitive racing going on here in space. I think this is going to be, seriously good. I know a lot of people, when they first saw it, the trailer made it look really extravagant. But when we saw actual gameplay, it was kind of like, eh. It's just waypoint racing. But when you actually look at the layout of these tracks, just how fast the M50 and ships like it actually are, I think this could be a really enjoyable aspect of Star Citizen. And it's nice to see a lot of these components coming together. And it's, nice to get that sense that what we're all looking forward to is having a game that has all of these elements that are really deep and really well done. Not just shallow bits of racing, shallow bits of FPS, PlanetSide's just a little bit of that, a little bit this. No, we want it all, and we want it all to be top-notch, and that is definitely the direction it appears Star Citizen is going. I know a lot of people have had their concerns. I still have my concerns. There's no reason not to be, skeptical, but they just keep delivering. You know, every update improves the game, the controls get better, the visuals get better, the performance gets better, they add more interesting content. In every single big convention, they reveal another piece of the game that some other developers working on that also looks very rough, but very, very promising. And that is the case with what we saw of the first-person shooter demo over at Star Citizen Con, I believe it was in Australia, or was it PAX Australia, sorry. We actually got to see first person, and of course they had the really nice, well done, dramatic intro that was absolutely gorgeous, and then we saw the very rough, you know, sort of alpha FPS combat. The big thing for me though, for the FPS combat, is I'm not so much concerned about, like, you know, oh, is it really grand, and, you know, what are they doing to make it not a corridor shooter? I'm more worried about them nailing the atmosphere, because I think in this type of game, in Star Citizen, it's all about making us feel like we are there by using the horsepower of things like the CryEngine and people's high-end PCs, you know, and optimization to just give the player that sense that this is like a thing that's happening right now, and I feel so immersed and so involved that this has just put the biggest grin on my face. That's what they need to go for me, for the FPS anyways. That's really what I'm looking forward to. Again, it doesn't have to be some crazy, well-done competitive shooter. You know, I just want it to feel great, and, you know, I would definitely like to see way down the road, you know, the ability for friends to team up and, you know, go fight the AI on these lost planets that we'll eventually be able to head down to. It's that dream that I think keeps a lot of people spending money on Star Citizen, and of course very hopeful that the game will turn out to be something rather wonderful and fantastic all at the same time. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the progress that they're making. Well done to the team at CIG, well done to the team at Redacted, and well done to every other team that seems to be involved in making Star Citizen. I'm looking forward. I can't wait for more. I can't wait for the rest of the year, and I can't wait to see what Star Citizen brings in 2015. For those of you guys who've been playing it, or if you haven't dived into, I believe it's 0.9.2, I strongly recommend it, especially if you're a HOTAS user who's been frustrated with the quality of your controls. Check out 0.9.2. It is a huge step in the right direction, extremely promising, and it makes the game an absolute treat to play. Finally, I can actually say that I really do enjoy playing it. As rough as it still is, I am excited to play Star Citizen now, so you'll definitely be seeing more of it here on the channel, guys. We're going to be bringing it back, so we're going to have Star Citizen, we're going to have Elite, we're just going to have Space Sims oozing out of our eardrums, all onto our keyboards, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. If you have anything you'd like to say about the video, or anything you'd like to ask me, as always, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I'm going to go black out and crash into some skyscrapers in space, and I'll see you in the next one.